My half-sister kept on contacting me expecting me to help her, and maternal grandma is siding with her. My half-sister got kicked out by our mom and called me crying, asking for help. I hung up the first time, and when she kept calling and texting, I told her we're not actually sisters, and I wasn't driving 6 hours to pick her up nor letting her stay with me. Since then, I've been getting non-stop texts and calls from my maternal family. My maternal grandmother, the only person I stayed in contact with, pretty much begged me to be a good sister and let my half-sister stay with me. She told my half-sister that I have my own house, gave her my number, etc. I've blocked my grandmother and everyone saying I should be understanding because we've both been abandoned by our mother. It's not the same. I told my grandmother this, but no one seems willing to acknowledge it. For context, my half-sister and I are exactly 9 months apart in age. She's the product of an affair, and my dad stayed with my biological mother until I was 5 and told him she kept bringing a man around when he wasn't home. Her affair partner, my half-sister's biological dad, divorced my biological mother and gave her the house in exchange for removing his name from my half-sister's birth certificate. My biological mother lost custody of me when I was 8 after abandoning me because her affair partner didn't want to bring a child that wasn't his to family gatherings. Dad tried to keep it civil so I could have a relationship with my half-sister, but she was a mini version of my mom's affair partner and never viewed me as a sister. I didn't like being around her, so my dad never forced me to. My biological mother, her affair partner, and my half-sister moved not long after this. My biological mother had been in childcare and lost her job because no one wants to hire you to watch their kids when you abandon yours in the middle of the night. I haven't seen my half-sister in 17 years. I didn't know what she looked like until I came home today. She was sitting on my porch with a suitcase and a car. I think my grandmother drove off as soon as I parked. I didn't get out of the car. I was too angry to even move, and I'm still angry right now. She kept saying she needs me and started crying, telling me that our mom was awful, her dad cut contact, and my biological mother's new partner doesn't want her in his house. I live next door to my dad, so when my half-sister started knocking on my car window after I just stared at her, I called him and told him what was going on and asked what I should do. Dad told me to stay in my car and call the cops, say I had a trespasser, which I did. I didn't get out until the cops came. When they did, my half-sister told them I agreed to let her stay, and now I'm leaving her homeless. I just showed them the texts. Specifically, the only texts I gave in response to everyone demanding I let her stay were no and text you have the space, not to, she's your sister, not to, can she please stay with you? Nothing but refusals before I blocked people. When my half-sister kept saying we're sisters, I told the cops I haven't seen this woman in 17 years. I don't know her. I didn't even know what she looked like. We're not family beyond sharing an egg donor. I went as far as unblocking my grandmother and calling her. I didn't even get to speak before she said, "Look, I love you, but you need to get over this. She's family, and she needs you. I've told your father you'd go to hell if he raised you to be so damn selfish, and you definitely will because she's going through the same thing you went through." She hung up right after, and I told the cops they can book my half-sister or drop her at a shelter. I don't care. I just want her off my property. They took her, and now I'm sitting here on my dad's couch wondering what the hell just happened. He doesn't want me staying alone right now in case they show back up. I'm so pissed right now. I don't get it. 17 damn years of no contact, and I only speak to my grandmother on holidays. I don't know most of the aunts, uncles, and cousins that blew up my phone, but because my biological mother pushed me out, I have to do what they tell me to? I'm 25 years old. I've only had my dad and my paternal family for years. My biological mother and her family haven't done crap for me. None of them even know when my damn birthday is, because even my grandmother texts me on the wrong day, not even a phone call. If my half-sister needs help so badly, one of them should help her. I don't know her. I don't know any of them either. I'm not letting an entire stranger into my house, and 6 hours is too far to visit when I had surgery, but not too far to try and force me to do something. Update. I checked the camera footage and saw my half-sister and maternal grandmother searching my property for a spare key. My uncle upgraded my security system, adding better hidden cameras and Ring doorbells. I went to the police with my grandpa, and my half-sister was booked for trespassing but released soon after. They lied, claiming I offered her a place to stay. I was able to get a temporary restraining order against both of them. I'm taking steps to protect myself, my property, and my dad's property. My maternal grandmother has a record for harassment, trespassing, and domestic violence, which I shared with the police. I discussed self-defense, security upgrades, and potentially getting a gun for protection with the officers. The texts and voice messages from my maternal side haven't stopped, and there are direct and indirect threats. My maternal grandmother insists I house my half-sister, but I refuse. Clarification. I'm a February baby, and my half-sister is a November baby. We're the same age, and I don't hate her, but I do resent her and her family for making me feel unsafe. She never claimed me until she needed something, and now she's forcing herself into my life, which I resent. I feel validated in my choices, thanks to Reddit advice and my dad. The attorney I spoke to confirmed I should gather evidence of harassment, call the cops, and show them the messages to prove no implied invitation. The camera footage of my half-sister and grandmother searching for a key was helpful. I'm prepared to call the cops if they show up again. Edit from a comment. It wasn't active, the temporary restraining order, when I posted the update because they hadn't been served yet. They were found at a hotel near my home and were served. A neighbor saw them and called the police. I was reporting the text, though. The temporary restraining order is on both my half-sister and my maternal grandmother. Final update. I'm alive and well. Texts and calls have all stopped. My entire neighborhood is on alert, and the family rotation continues. One of my friends stayed last night, and a different friend agreed to stay tonight. Today will be spent with my aunt, the one with the keychain and fisticuff bracelet, and Grandma. No one showed up at my house in the middle of the night. My aunt suggested making transcripts of all the saved voice messages, which I think is a pretty good addition to this, to go along with a USB drive of them. So that'll be part of what I do today. The second piece of advice I have saved is about documenting every day, even if nothing happens, in a spiral notebook. I started on this immediately. We'll also be recording when I go to and from work, or anywhere, to be honest. Also, multiple people mentioned the door screws. That was among the first things done when I bought the house, and my windows were all changed on purchase as well. They're impact windows, so it'll take a lot of effort to break them. My uncle has always been big on home safety, so he did all of that with me. Even though I'm next door to my dad and fairly close to the rest of the family, he always says I'm still a woman alone in a house. You can never be too safe. I feel a bit better with all the advice offered. If anyone is having similar trouble, take the advice offered in the comments. It really helped, and I'm grateful for all the help. Holiday vacations have officially been canceled and refunded. Always invest in travel insurance. A lot of stories shared with me have me on edge about leaving my home unattended. My neighbors offered to watch my house, but I'd feel more comfortable being present if something happens. So this year, I'm going to be hosting Thanksgiving and potentially Christmas. My grandma suggested this, and she's getting really into it. So today might also be shopping for decorations.